We're live. What's up?
Looks like it.
Can the people hear you, Nate, or can I only
Yeah,
hear
they
you?
should be able to. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We can just keep on like we were.
Yeah, we're just chilling. I'm gonna make sure everything's working here. But
YouTube's up.
oh yeah. Alright, we're live on Twitter. I'm liking and tweeting.
I'll trust you then. Yeah, I got my plebdev node up here, but maybe we could use MutinyNet for this. It might not be necessary. Did I tell you what I was thinking about building?
No, not really.
Thinking about building a tipping page.
Okay. Yeah.
Why a lot of people want to use like BTC Pay Server, for example, they want to get that tipping page.
Right. That sounds really cool. I would totally build that if I knew how.
Well, you're about to.
Yes.
And you won't even need to know how because we're going to make it into a template. This is what's cool with Next.js. We can actually make it to where I don't have it here. But once we're done with it, we can make it to where there's a button right here in the repo that says one-click deploy to Vercel, and it will be free.
Man. Hold on. I messed something up. I feel so bad. I got the wrong title on our Zap stream. Son of a monkey.
It's okay. It's a parameterized replaceable event. You can update it.
What do I want to do? I want to go
Same.
to stream dashboard, streams, videos. Kieran changed this up a little bit. Where do I go to change the title now?
Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull this up in the lab. Be right back.
Yep.
Give me 1 second. Be right back. All right. How's it looking?
Everything's alright. I still don't know how to change the title on Zapstream, but don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Everything else looks fine though.
Sweet. Well, I'll give it a minute here and then I'll get started. So yeah, I think building a tipping page would be a good project to do here. Yeah, so this will be good because we can basically get to play around with our node and play around with my real node here. but I am not going to risk losing any money because I'm going to be able to use my invoice macaroon. Because we're only going to be creating invoices, but we can do it in a few different ways. And so I'm thinking start with a basic tipping flow. The user can choose an amount and we'll generate an invoice and surface it to them. Then from there, we'll take it to the next level and probably do lightning address on top of that. And that can kind of live as a simple example. And maybe even on-chain tips. I'm not sure. You could do on-chain through your lightning node, but that could be a cool way to show off the Bitcoin Core nodes eventually. But yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm going to spin up a new Next.js app. So yeah, I think
when you can, Austin, try to expand it as much as you can.
for sure.
The stuff, yeah.
Let's go. So I'm going to spin up a new Next.js app. We're just going to do npx create next app. And I'll do at latest here, get the latest version. And what are we going to call it? Call it voltage tipper. No TypeScript for this one, but maybe over time. We'll use ESLint. We'll use Tailwind for styles. That'll be nice. Do we want a source directory? Sure. Do we want app router? No, thanks. We won't need that. That's just for server-side components. We're not going to get into anything complicated, hopefully. And what is that? Import alias. That's good. Cool. So it's basically like create React app, but just Next.js if you haven't used it before. And I'll give you a quick tour of kind of the structure of Next.js app real quick before we start writing code. Sweet. So let's get in my code here and we'll pull that up. We'll zoom way in. All right. Cool. So this is the boilerplate little app I created. Scoot this down. Just have the terminal open. Great. So what's great about Next.js, this is essentially just a React app, but we have two very convenient features here. One is page routing. So anything inside of this pages directory, like we have an index.js here. This index.js will be the root of our app. But if we add like, I don't know, tip.js, this then would become our app /tip, right? So we can create slugs directly in the pages router or in the pages directory right here. And it will automatically route those slugs appropriately. And the other cool thing about Next is this API folder. Inside of pages, there's API. And right now there's just a hello. And this is actually a real API, the endpoint that works. We could go hit the hello endpoint and it would return John Doe, I suppose. And that's cool because we can add in files in here. Like, let's say maybe we have API /tip, right? And then we can hit an API endpoint for, you know, our app /API /tip. And then we can just return a response directly in there. So that's really awesome because that means we can write both our front end and our back end code just right here in this one repo. We don't have to jump around a lot. Great. So we'll start with some front end stuff first. I'm just going to empty this out. And we'll put a good old hello world. Yeah, just like that. And I don't want to use any of these fancy class names. So we'll just get rid of that. Cool. So now we can do npm run dev. Should be able to see. Dark mode by default. Let's go. All right. So it renders. So next I want to get in a component library. Oh my gosh, it's so bright. Ugh. Can see my 5 o'clock shadow. Okay, there we go. So this is Prime React. This has been one of my favorite UI libraries as of lately. It's just simple to install, and it allows you to use Tailwind styling as well. So for just doing inline CSS. So we'll install this, npm install Prime React, and then we'll need to add it into our app configuration. So I'll go ahead and stop the app here. Prime React. And I'm going to install Prime icons as well, because they have an icon library. Maybe we'll want to use that later. So next I want to get in a... Okay, cool. And then in our underscore app.js, we need to have something like this. So that will just basically provide the whole Prime React library to our entire app. The underscore app.js page here is just an abstraction page that allows us to apply kind of a universal page logic or page template to every other page. But this should be all that we need to do in here. We also want to import a theme. Let me zoom in here. Go. Prime React has different themes, and we can actually see them here in the sidebar. So these are different themes you can choose from. I think I want to do, what was it? Material design blue. Kind of don't like that. Bootstrap blue, that's what it was. I like this one. Cool, so it gives us an example. You just import a class to do that, but we can look through all of the themes and find, what did I choose? Bootstrap blue. Bootstrap dark blue right here. And then I can import this, and this should change the theme of my app. And run dev again. Okay, and let's just see if that worked by importing a button from the library. Or button from Prime React button. Just put a button, label says click me. Ah, it's not quite working. So we're importing it here. Let's get rid of all of this. And I'll just pull up a recent repo where I applied this style. I think I'm just missing something dumb. What did we do this for? Bitcoin link. So Tailwind config, we have that. JSON config. Prime React provider. Let's try this. Don't need that. There we go. Okay, that's a real button. Cool, so let's empty this out and make it a bit more simple. So we're just applying, it looks like just a black color here to the root. We have to add these Tailwind utilities and base and everything like that, and then Prime React here at the top. So this way Prime React can just kind of wrap our whole app and put the entire theme that we're choosing here into our app. So then as we do things like put down buttons, they should look good pretty simply. And we don't have to spend too much time writing CSS because you You all don't want to watch me writing CSS forever. Okay, great. So that's in place. The first thing I want to do is get a input to put in a tip amount. So I'm going to grab, we can go into the components here for Prime React, and there's all of these different components we can choose from. Like button, we just used button. And it shows us all these examples of how to use button, the different colors you can use, different shapes, stuff like that. So all the options here at our fingertips. So let's click on input number. And this should allow us to have a simple number input. Integer, that will work. Cool, so let's just copy this, and we know we'll be importing it as input number. Oops. Do it right here. Let's start to make a new component for this, because we know we're gonna have components folder. So in source, say components, and we'll have a new tipping component.js. Okay. So we'll say tipping component for default. And then, yeah, just put in our input here for now. Number, import that from Prime React. Cool. And then we're going to have state to determine, or really to hold, the tipping amount that the user is going to put in. So I'm going to bring in the use state hook to do that. We can say const, we'll just call it amount, set amount, equals use state, and it will default to 0. And we don't want any of that. Cool. So what this will do is we have an amount value and then an amount setter. So this will allow us to set that value. It defaults to 0. And then as this value changes in the input number, we should be setting the amount to the updated value. So that's pretty cool. I'll put a placeholder in here. Placeholder text that says sats. And we'll put, cool. So what this will do right there. And we'll turn this hello world into Austin tipping page. Cool. And later we'll actually replace this. We're going to talk to my node directly, and I'll get the node alias from here, but we'll just call it Austin's tip page. Works. And we'll import in our new component called being component. Bothering me. Number value 1 is not defined. Our value should be amount. Cool. It's a start. We can put in numbers. Oh, look, and it automatically, let's zoom in, automatically adds commas. That's pretty nice. Let's center this. So what's nice about Tailwind, I can just throw up a class name and we'll say width full, margin on the x-axis can be auto. That should center everything. No. Last name, text, center. X, auto. Always centering the div. The answers usually make another div. Last name, MX, auto. You can also do with full, flex, flex row, and justify center. There we go. Just use Flexbox for that. Okay. Great. And we'll have a submit button in here as well. So let's import button. Label submit. Severity equals success. This will make it like a green button. There we go, but I want this to sit below. Yeah, let's do flex. We'll make this whole container a column. And then we can say justify center. And that should line it all up. Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll just give this a little bit of margin on the top. Give some space. Okay, cool. That's fine. Okay, this is a basic layout, and I think it's basic enough to start to get into talking to our node. Because from here, we will talk to our node. We're going to pull in our info with get info, and then we're going to create an invoice from this submit button. And from there, maybe we can make it a little bit pretty after that. So I've got my node here on Voltage. This is one I just spun up the other day on mainnet, and I got my free inbound channel from Voltage, so I should be able to receive only 11K sats. That doesn't seem right, but that's enough to test with. So let's go. So I want to connect to my. I need two things to connect to my node here with Voltage, and that is I need a host, basically a URL to go talk to my node and talk to the LND interface, and I also need a macaroon, and that macaroon is going to be the permissions to do so. So we can get the API endpoint and everything right here. And so let's start to put that together. I'm going to put environment variables in here for that. So I can make a new file at the root and call it .env. And I'm going to make host. But we actually, since this is a Next.js app, we have to do something dumb. We have to say next_public_host. Because we have to, one good thing to know about environment variables, when you use them on the client side, they get bundled up into the app when they get delivered to the end user. So if you're ever dealing with macaroons or just any really secret credentials, you should be very careful with your environment variables here. For my app here, I'm just going to be using my invoice macaroon, so it's not a huge deal if I lose it. And I can even regenerate it. But yeah, definitely something to be careful. So this is going to be the host where we are going to make requests. So I'm going to put https:// and we want to talk to the LND API. And so the LND API is going to be on port 8080. And it's going to be at /v1. I believe that's right. Yeah, we'll give that a try. And then it'll be like v1/getinfo. And this will be an example of where we do a request to get info. So let's do that. And then we'll do next public macaroon. And this will have our invoice macaroon. So I can go to manage access and macaroon bakery. And I can do, no, I need to create an invoice macaroon. There we go. copy the hex of that. Great. Okay, so now at the top level, let's make an API request. So I'm gonna, let's stop the app here. I'm gonna install a library called Axios for making HTTP requests. And we'll import Axios from Axios. Effect. Cool. So the other hook you use in React a lot is called use effect. This one's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to learn at first, but it basically allows you to define a block of code. Just trying to autocomplete for me here. And this block of code will run every time that the value inside of this little block here changes. And if it's empty, like it is here, then it'll run every time that this component is rendered. So what use effect really allows you to do is to, have code that runs at a certain time based off of some kind of dependency. And if that dependency is empty, then it'll just run whenever the page renders. And so for us, we think about it like, okay, we're going to get info from our node. Let's just do it every time that the page renders. Like that's a totally fine thing to do. So let's bring in our environment variables. So I can say const macaroon host process.env. This is just how we access our environment variables from within our project. Cool. Now we can do axios.get. And I'm going to do backticks here so I can put in a variable host. And did we include the v1? We did. Let's not. Let's just have 8080, just like that, because that's our actual host. And then here we can say /v1/get info. Great. And then, it already knows what we want to do. Copilot. So we have headers. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to stop you. I think on your microphone settings, leave it to like always on instead of detecting your voice, because the whatever chill music you're playing in the background is like really intermittent and odd, unless I think it's on by like default.
Yeah, let's check it out. I probably have.
But yeah, I mean, but you sound great and stuff. It's just whoever's like in the background keeps getting cut out because of that. I think it's yeah, I don't think it's OBS. I think it's Discord.
Yeah. That's no problem. Is that better?
Probably. I'm not sure yet. But I don't know. We'll see.
Cool. Yeah, it looks clear on my side.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, and anyone feel free to jump in with any questions, and Nate will if you don't want to talk, Nate, I'm sure will let me know if you have a question.
Yep, I'm watching everything.
Sweet. Okay, so our first API call to our node. This looks good up front, so we're calling to the host v1 and then get info. Let's go ahead and pull up the Lightning API docs or LND API docs. Sweet. So most of the methods you ever need for LND are this Lightning service.
We got to make the make it full screen again. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Sweet. Yeah, so these are most of the methods you'll ever use, but it can be a little bit difficult to figure out which ones to use and how to use them at first. So I actually think one of the first methods, add invoice, that we'll be using here. Yeah. This lets you create a new invoice And there's a lot of arguments here. There's a lot of parameters that you can pass in, and they don't really tell you which ones are required, which ones are not required. Is that what this question mark uses? No. Sometimes question mark determines that. So it can be a little bit confusing at first, but we're going to be doing a pretty simple use of each of these endpoints. So get info, this is one we're trying to call. v1 get info, that looks right. And we should expect to get back all of these fields. So let's give it a try. Let's see if it works. Get info, and we just console log that right now. So that should be fine. So let's npm run dev. And we'll open up the console. And let's see if we get a CORS error. I'm so ready for a CORS error. Okay, no CORS error. Let's see, we get response, permission denied. Check the network tab here. Headers. So I had my gRPC metadata macaroon. It's in there. Response permission denied. gRPC.
Did you put a certificate on there?
No, I normally don't have to.
Correct. Yeah, but sometimes you have to define empty string. I'm not sure.
For the certificate, yeah, I've never done that on a Lightning endpoint before. Let me try to request this through, I have Insomnia right here. And this can be an easy way to test this. Should be right. /v1/get info. And we don't need a body, but for headers, gRPC. Okay, let's see what we get here. Permission denied, accept host body. Not found. Here's an old request I have from my other node. Headers, gRPC metadata macaroon.
Does that one work?
Let's see, what am I doing here? Yeah, get info. Oh no, this node doesn't exist anymore. I destroyed it. Let's try this. Maybe it's the casing on header /v1/get info.
Do you still have the .env of the one that you deleted, of the node that you deleted? Just to see if the PC's the same type.
We actually, I did that for the voltage video. It's in my replit. See what I did there. So voltage LND REST examples. I need to use my own examples. So REST host, v1 get info. So if I go to, where is that? Secrets. https:// REST host v1 get info. gRPC metadata macaroon. Yeah, seemed to work here. This is also my node I destroyed.
But that's JavaScript.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because I just generated this new macaroon, default invoice macaroon. Let me try to use my read-only macaroon, just for the heck of it. That one worked. Interesting.
You could bake another invoice one out of Thunderhub if you want to.
Yeah. So everything in the request is right, except for the macaroon.
Huh.
Is it, does the invoice macaroon not let you get info?
Oh, that's interesting. It might not. Yeah.
I'm so used to using my admin macaroons, that might be the case.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, actually.
Okay, well, screw it. Let's have a read macaroon. Let's have an invoice macaroon.
All right.
Let's just get things to work. Next, public read macaroon equals this. Read. Refresh. Okay, there we go. We're smart devs. Let's go. Okay, so we can get info, and now let's grab this alias every time the page renders, and we'll put this as person's tipping page. So I'm gonna make some state here, say const, just have node info. We'll just call it that. Set node info. And then when we have a successful response with .then, we'll set node info. Otherwise, we'll throw an error. This will be node info dot alias. And we'll say don't render anything until we have the node info by checking if the alias is there. That should work. And I have to do this fun thing. Okay. Oops. There we go. Pleb dev tipping page. It definitely looks like it right now.
Yay.
Okay, let's use that other macaroon. So now we have this tipping component. It's basically set up. I mean, we're setting the amount here. We need to have an on submit, and that on submit should create an invoice. So let's say const handle submit. And we're going to bring in Axios from Axios. And we'll bring in our environment variables, const host. What's that? Const macaroon equals our regular invoice macaroon. Say Axios dot post. No, we're going to write this one ourselves. Post to post slash v1 slash, what is it? Transactions. Let's check the docs. So this was add invoice. And we can look at the REST example and we see it's at v1 invoices. Cool. And we're going to have headers here. And data. Stop formatting it all weird. Okay, there we go. So this is our options object inside here, and then we can close this out, and then we can do dot then. But I like to break it. Dot catch. Cool. So, and we're passing value field as amount. Is value what we want? This should be sats. The value of this invoice in Satoshis. So, okay, we know it's not in MSATs. That's good. And we shouldn't need any of these other fields. We don't really need to customize this invoice in any other kind of way. So let's just try this for right now. So this response we get back, let's say res.data, should have payment request in it. Next, we need to put a on click handle submit. Cool. We should actually also say if if amount is less than equal to 0, then return. Okay, let's refresh and give it a try. So I'm going to tip myself 10 sats. And we got a bad request. Okay, let's check it out. Unknown field headers. Header. Will that work? Okay, what did we get this time? Unknown field header. Okay, we probably just did something dumb. How do we do it over here? Object headers. And then here we have the body. Value equal to amount. Do that, and let's format this. This looks terrible. Cool, let's try it again. 10 sats. Headers, did I save it? Stop post.
Hello, person. Thanks for joining us. I noticed that logo, but I don't know if it is who I think it is.
Probably is.
Hey,
How's it going?
What's up?
We're making a tip page with
Nice,
React.
classic. React, ew.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. React's great.
We'll do JavaScript next time.
On that svelte hype train.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard about
React
that.
is actually probably way better to do a tutorial in. Just everybody knows it.
Yeah, I still want to pick up Svelte and HTMX. I haven't really
Heard
tried
a lot
them.
of good things.
Stuck.
I heard a lot of good things about HTMX, but haven't tried it myself yet.
Yeah, I'm just watching Austin do his thing. I might watch it back later and try to do it myself.
Yeah, well, the good part is we should have a template project after this that's simple
Yeah,
enough.
that we could share.
Okay, did it work?
Awesome.
Okay, well, that's better. Not found. V1 invoice. Let's see if we're dumb. Invoices, we're dumb.
Yeah, invoices. There we go. It's always one character, man, that messes up the whole thing.
It is.
Ah,
New error, unknown field headers.
It's this again.
All right, guys, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Oh
Uh,
no.
on that issue.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah,
It's
it's one of
like
those. It's one of those syntax things.
yeah. No. It's a tool. It's fine.
Options, headers. Option.
The M in macro need to be capitalized? Is it not recognizing the header?
No, it's on the post request as opposed to the get request. The body is the first argument and the headers is the second argument.
Mm.
Oh, I see.
Just gotta get good.
Hello, Rely.
Okay, we get our invoice. Yay! We do. And this should be a real Lightning Network invoice. Let's see if we can pay it.
Hold on, what was the problem? What did we have to fix?
It was for the post request as opposed to the get request. The headers is the second argument. So when I was doing a get request over here, I was able to put headers as like the first argument. Yeah, one of those fun things.
Cool.
Okay. So we got this invoice. Let's see if we can pay it with Albi.
Pay yourself.
I will make myself pay myself.
This is how the government makes money, so it's cool.
I am not MSBing, I promise. Okay, it says it was sent. Let's go to. I spun up ThunderHub.
Well, you can look in the Surge stuff too. You don't have Surge on, but if you had Surge on, you could just see it too.
Oh yeah. I should.
But ThunderHub's fine. ThunderHub's fine.
I should have Surge on.
Yes, everybody should have Surge on. So you don't have to go to ThunderHub all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was quick though.
Transactions, May 24th, 1.
Okay.
Cool, that's probably it.
Nice.
So now we need a memo field. Can we add a memo field?
Yes, we can add a memo field quite easily.
I'm just throwing ideas out there. If you already have a plan, never mind.
No, I literally have no plan, so.
Okay, cool.
Great idea. So const memo equals memo. We need a form for the user to put a memo. So if we have input numbers there, import input text. Yes. So where do we want this? We'll do it right below the amount. Yeah, I'll just do it here. Put text. Value memo on change. Set memo. Gross, not like that.
Mhm.
Flex call. That should make it a column. Cool. And let's make this a default of null, so then, oops, we'll see our placeholders for sats and memo. Cool. Pass in the memo, and the memo is optional. Yes. Let's make another one. Let's do 100 sats, memo. Yo.
Yes. Now we could pay that, and then in ThunderHub we can look in the transactions and see it.
The way, whenever Albi decides to do their next release, you'll be able to do this with MutinyNet.
Neat. We were thinking of doing that.
Yeah, I was actually looking into this very recently, like how to get ThunderHub on MutinyNet.
Oh, sweet, sweet. That would be sick.
Let's go.
I got a question earlier today that was like someone wanted to use MutinyNet with BTC Pay, and I think we could do that. It's just they need a starter plan because BTC Pay is not in the free plan. Actually, do you know that, Brandon? Can you, if on a MutinyNet, can you go into manage access and rip out the BTC Pay connection string from MutinyNet? Is that a
Uh,
thing? Yeah.
that's a good question. Actually, I don't think you can. I think we disable
Okay.
Mutiny. I think we disable everything except Thunderhub. No, I think we actually disabled everything for
Okay.
MutinyNet.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. If you look in the Discord MutinyNet channel, there's a guy there that was like, I'm trying to bake BTC Pay Store voucher support into an app, but testnet is a huge pain, so I want to use MutinyNet for using BTC Pay to make vouchers. Something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
fair.
Oh
Change the
no,
topic.
it's legit, man. Like if literally the only problem is that nobody supports MutinyNet yet. But if they did, development would be so much easier.
I think BTC Pay supports like signets in general, though. I just don't know how it works. This is the first time me hearing about it, so I told him I'd look into it.
Oh, I see. If it supports Signet, you should just be able to like do MutinyNet payments with
Yeah,
it. I
that's what I was
think.
thinking too. Like, I got to play with it later. Because
You know, it's
even if we don't give them a BTC Pay connection string, we should still be able to craft it, like show them how to craft it, put it together.
right.
Um,
Yeah, let me know what you figure out because if BTC Pay can
yeah,
already do that, then we should totally enable that
yeah,
and maybe
I'll test it
next
out.
tutorial.
Anyway, what are we doing now, Austin? Sorry.
QR code.
Uh, what library is that?
QR code React.
Use mine if you want.
Oh yeah, the one that makes like the AI transformers and stuff.
I'll
No,
use
no, no.
Do you remember that? Who made that? That was funny. We made this thing that uses like AI to make QR codes, and it's like the QR code looks like an actual image, but if it
Yeah,
scans
yeah,
like
yeah. We did that too, actually. Me
yeah,
and Koala.
yeah.
Worry
Very
about
cool.
it though, Austin. I don't want to distract you.
No, it's
You
okay. I
already
love
know.
distracted.
This is kind of what we wanted, though. We wanted a little bit more conversation, like hanging out, kind of. Like the idea was like folks that are already using Voltage can just like work on their projects alongside us and just chit chat and
Sweet, that's cool.
stuff like that.
Yeah, this is work I'd be doing anyway, so might as well like do it while hanging out with people.
Exactly.
It's social.
Cool. So QR code library. Where do we want this QR code to show up though? I'm thinking like it could be a modal, or we could just pop it below. The more front end stuff we do, the
Yeah,
more tech debt we will build up very quickly.
I
um,
would say just like pop it below, keep it simple.
yeah.
yeah.
This is just like a demo app, right? So like doesn't need to be fancy.
Yeah, exactly. QR code
Probably
canvas.
yourself some more headaches.
Yeah.
This is cool though, because I always wanted to learn how to do something like this so I could do silly things like have it trigger a microcontroller that turns my Christmas lights on or something.
Every time you get a zap.
Yeah.
Cool.
or beer tap type stuff, you know, because that's what this seems like. This is what this can be used for.
Yeah, exactly. Like once you have something like this is just a good project to learn how to set up for making invoices, listening to invoices, which is something we should probably get into next.
Mm.
And then you can always do stuff off of that. QR code. Whoa. What do you think? You're so clever. So Clever Copilot, you know how to render my invoice. We need a const invoice, set invoice. I really don't like the format that a lot of wallets have where you append Lightning like this at the beginning of the invoice.
Yes, that bothers me. That really drives me nuts. Because
Really?
a
I
lot of
love that.
wallets, you have to like delete that out sometimes for it to be recognized.
Zeus does it. It's just like
Yeah.
every time I'm putting in an invoice, like I'm copying it.
Yeah.
I think my opinion on that is that they should do both. Right? Like because I mean that's like it's BIP21 except for Lightning, right? But I kind of think you should like obviously support just a regular invoice, you know? Crazy
Yeah.
if they don't.
Yeah,
Or they should be able to be like to try both ways. The app should be
Exactly.
smart enough to figure it out.
Albi does both. You can do either.
Bitcoin, Bolt 11. Yeah, they don't have it here for Lightning. Bolt
Yeah.
11 by
Yeah,
itself has none.
I think there they have Lightning as a param. Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is.
That's kind of yeah, because it's like the Bitcoin like no, that's a Bolt 12 offer. What's just on chain? BIP21 URI with on chain. That's pre-pinned with Bitcoin, but the just a Bolt 11 invoice
It's just that.
the
Yeah.
invoice. So I don't know. That's they're already even without the additional data. Okay, well, fair enough. Okay, so I think we have a size parameter here. I want to do like 264, maybe.
We have a little bit of chatter in the YouTube. I just noticed. Just saying hi. DeLorean says hi, and Mike Tidwell says hi.
Cool.
Hey, there's Mike. Speak of the devil.
Yo,
Welcome
what's
to
up?
our Humble Hangout, sir. What's up?
Yo, y'all having so much fun. I just wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
think this was a cool idea. I'm learning a lot.
So set invoice. So we almost got the QR code rendering. Res.data.payment request. Payment request. Yep. Try that. Yay. Okay.
That's
Renders
cool.
just terrible.
Should I scan it to see if it works?
Yeah, see if you can scan it. You might not be able to because of the background.
Stand by. Black and white is the best contrast.
It should be.
Need that white border around the QR code for maximum optimization.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed too when I round the corners of a QR code, it makes it. I don't know why.
What the?
I know for the longest time, Androids struggled to scan for some reason without a white border, and for some reason, iPhones worked a little bit better with the Zebedee app, but I don't know why.
My Zeus on an Android phone is definitely having trouble.
Yeah, do you have an iPhone?
Nah, I don't. No,
I'll pay
I've
you.
got an iPad somewhere, but no Bitcoin stuff on it.
How much was the invoice?
I have no idea. It was like 10 sats or something.
I'll pay my entry fee, Austin, if you want.
Okay. Here it is. If you
Wait,
can
hold on,
get
keep it there. Let me see if I can pay it. This is me building a goodwill within the Discord community, right?
That's right.
exactly.
Give me 1 second.
We should do this. We should charge everyone to join.
Let me try a different app. Hold on.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna control scroll. I can't even do that.
Let me try this one.
I think it's too close to that submit button. I think we pull it down a few pixels.
Wait, move. Oh, I was so close. Okay, so iPhone pays it no problem. It's 100 stats.
Do we have a green check mark when it's paid, Austin? We
Yeah.
gotta build that.
Oh, yeah. No, we gotta add that.
So the invoice, the 100 sat invoice was paid, but just know, like, without the white border, Androids for some reason just struggle. So, for what that's worth, I had to use an iPhone.
My
Okay.
graphene phone is still charging. I would have tried that, but it might be a hardware thing.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That'd be an interesting test though. Like Android vanilla doesn't work, but graphene does. That'd be weird.
Yeah, when I implemented, yeah, that's not white.
The good part is you can put a white border wrapper around the QR code spawning and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
If you're a
UJ1.
JavaScript guru.
Then pet. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, look at that. I've
That's
never seen a nicer looking QR code. Damn.
Rounded and everything.
I want to pay it again just because it looks so nice.
Yeah.
I'm ready to pay, man. Let's
No,
go.
no, we need a special. We need a
That,
special.
that- just for what it's worth, that scanned no problem. I already scanned it and it was fine.
Cool. Okay, we need to listen for when our invoice is paid next.
Okay. How do we do this?
So I want something special to happen. Do I? Okay, I'm gonna do something real quick. Just hang with me. I'm gonna steal some of my own previous code. I have this hook called use toast. Let's make new folder hooks. And this will just be like a notification toast. It can pop up on the whole screen and it'll be amazing. It'll literally be so amazing. Use toast, and then we need to wrap our app with use toast. Import use toast. Toast provider. I have to import toast provider.
I've never seen anyone steal code from themselves. I'm really impressed right now.
Really? How do you do anything?
I usually just share the code with myself. I usually don't try to steal it from myself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just being punny.
Well, all of my code has licenses, so it is technically stealing.
Oh shit.
JK. Okay,
Hello
we have,
World Incorporated. Yeah.
and how do I, let's see how to just get an example. Use toast. Show toast. There we go. Component. Use toast. Cool. Okay, that's how we show toast. So that's out of the way. So now it'll look pretty, but now we can actually make it work. So we have add invoice. So we need to get an invoice. Get info, get transactions, list invoices, list payments, send coins, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's probably this one. Get transactions, turns a list describing all the no transactions. So we can get all the transactions, but can we get an individual transaction? If I search this endpoint with another slash on it, there's no result. List invoices. Has full support for paginated responses, allowing users to query for specific invoices through their add index. This can be done by using either first index offset or last index offset. That's not very helpful because so you have the invoice add index, and so this lets us see like the index of when an invoice was added into our invoice database, but that doesn't let us look up a specific invoice. Pending only index offset, reversed, creation date start. Uint 64. Yeah, let's just list out our invoices to start, and we'll figure out how to parse it in a minute. State, use effect. So when do we want to start listening for invoices? Do we want to be listening all the time? And do we want to be polling? So one easy way to start is right after an invoice is created, then we can start listening and maybe poll. So let's just do const. Yeah, listen for payment. Works. Just have it generate this for me. No way you can just get an invoice with your invoice. That's so dumb. It would be cool if you could do that, but it's not gonna let me do that. So get it invoices. We have our header with the macaroon. That should be good. And our invoice macaroon should still work for this. Res.data.settled. Let's just console log res.data. We'll say this is invoices. Let's just call this right here. Listen for payment. And we can show toast because that'll be fun. We'll just do that just to see how fun it is. Okay, refresh. Okay, cool. Says it's not found. That's funny because it was found right here. Or is that the options? It says 200 on invoice. Oh, that was for the post. So this was to V1 invoice. And it's invoices again. Oh my gosh. I learned no lessons. Yeah, look at how nice that could look. It's firing at the wrong time right now, but you know, you see the big idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with our request here, listen for payments. We're just doing a get and we're not passing anything special. So therefore, oops. Telling us the first index offset is 1, the last index is 11, because we only have 11 invoices total. And creation date, thing special. So therefore, oops. Telling us the first index offset is 1, the last index is 11. So what we can do is creation date. So whenever we create an invoice, what we can do is we can listen for any invoices that have been paid after the current timestamp. And we can listen for only a period of time, like let's say maybe a minute. If I was a good coder, I would know how to do this. I think we want to do a use effect. So whenever we create an invoice, what we can do is we can listen, and I want this use effect to run. every time timestamp an invoice, and we can listen for only a period of time, like let's say maybe a minute. No, I actually want use timeout. I don't know how to do this. I think we want to do a use effect. Whenever we create set timeout, what we can do is we can listen, and I want this to run every 1 second, every time timestamp an invoice, and we can listen for only a period of time, like let's say maybe a minute. No, I actually want use timeout. I don't know how to do this. I think we want to do a use listen for payment. And I need to figure out how to pass in the timestamp here. Do this. Let's go to 1 second. LD API docs. E1. Number of max invoices. Creation date end. Listen for payment. And I need to figure out how to pass in the timestamp here. Less than or equal to it. Rest placement. So this is a query. Creation date end or creation date start. So we're gonna say current fonts, current timestamp. uint64 Unix timestamp. Let's see how to get current Unix timestamp. JavaScript. Get time. Cool. And we need to add this into the query. Current Unix timestamp. And I guess this is what current. What did they call it here? Creation date start. Equals. Variable. Current Unix timestamp. Okay, hopefully that should work. Okay, now I need to figure out this set timeout. This is actually wrong. This is waiting 1 second, but I need it to, how do you poll? How do I, should be a use effect that starts up every single time that an invoice is created. And then we're going to have invoice paid. So invoice paid. Actually, it should be invoice status because maybe we'll show error codes or something on this. Just make it null for now. And then we can say while invoice status is not equal settled. Yeah, we do something like this. Wait a second, get the current timestamp, listen for payment. I think that should work. Invoice status not equal settled. And here we'll set invoice status to res.data.settled. And what will settled tell us? Settled date, settled. Settled is depreciated. What? Should be true or false.
I remember this. They did something with this.
It's here, settled, false. Like the field is here. That's funny. They love saying things are deprecated. It's not equal. If actually, let's just call this invoice settled. Set voice settled. This will default to false. And settle res.data.settled. If invoice settled. That reads a little clear. That's a little clear. Okay. And our while loop happens with invoice. While not invoice settled, we run this. Can say if res.data settled. Then we show our toast. Okay, let's give it a try. Page is slowing down. Oh no, did I write an infinite loop? It's loading. Okay, no, it's still loading. Am I still live with you guys, or did I lose internet?
Seems okay.
Okay. Okay, that's weird. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, it's not. What the heck? Let's restart our server. Oh,
There goes your camera. Ah!
there's PlubLab.
Did your
One
camera
sec.
fall or something?
Yeah.
The NSEC bunker. Nice. Oh man, people don't know what fun they're missing out on.
Hey, Austin. Can you hear me?
I think technical difficulties.
I was gonna ask Austin, how many sats do I need to pay to shield TabConf on his whiteboard while he streams?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So advertisement space in the stream.
That's such a good idea too. I like it.
I
Oh,
mean,
man.
you know, Satoshi's place does it. Like, why not
Yeah.
Austin's whiteboard dot place?
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny if he just had the whiteboard with Austin's place. And you just pay that he like manually gets a marker and does it. Like, I don't know. I just think that'd be funny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How you
Okay.
doing?
Did you hear my request, Austin?
What was it?
I said, if you have the whiteboard in the background, you can do like Austin's place instead of Satoshi's place, and then we can pay you invoices and you manually just take a marker and you draw stuff. I wanted to shield TabConf on your whiteboard.
Is my
That's a
camera?
good idea. Just stream all day and just have an advertising board behind you.
Dude, I mean, did we not just come up with the best Twitch sat stream idea ever? I mean, come on now.
I'm going to go through here and make like shorts and highlights and post.
Let's go. Okay, well now I'm just invisible, so
Oh
That's
man,
cool.
did it break? You
no,
don't have to. Yeah.
it's just not standing up. I would have to like restart.
No. Go
Yeah,
voice only. There's nothing wrong with that.
only like a real hacker.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I was just about to try this. Oh no, my app was crashing. That's what was happening. That was a lot at once. NPM run dev. That was a bit overwhelming. Let's give it a try again. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, something is wrong here. Something is crashing. Because I'm like clicking around, nothing's happening. Page is slowing down Firefox. We must have added some really bad code here. Let me comment this out. This one thing I'll say here while that's loading. If we go into API resources, LND Node API, gRPC API examples. This is actually where the gRPC API is really helpful. It's a lot messier. Do we have let's add invoice and payment sync. But yeah, with the gRPC examples, we can actually open up a socket to listen for invoices constantly instead of having to poll. And this is a problem with HTTP is like, we're going to have to pull for it, and it has us writing some gross code, which is why this was not happy with this. So let's take this block of code here and let's put it right in here, set invoice. That way this will run after the invoice is created. And we can kind of have a temporary listen state. Okay, maybe that'll work a bit better. 21 tester. Something happening? Yeah, it's definitely this while loop. For payment, current Unix timestamp. Let's do this for now. Let's just give it a good 10 seconds. Creation date start. So we'll just wait 10 seconds and then we can fix our polling from here. PM dev. I wonder if this is just my computer is running super slow. Firefox CP isolated web content is taking up 1.63 gigs. It's quite a lot.
Something is happening, man. I don't know what it is.
Okay, there we go. So I have 10. Oh, wait, crap. I screwed that up. I need to console log the invoice still. Set invoice and let's console.
Just quoted a Bob Dylan song. I don't know if you know that.
Wait, what? What Bob Dylan song?
Something is happening, and I don't know what it is.
I haven't heard that one. Okay, so now I have 10 seconds to pay this. And
It would be more funny if the Bob Dylan song was, "Oh, I have to console log out the right output in the web file."
Mm-hmm.
That's the song you don't know about.
yeah, if only Bob was that based. So set timeout, listen for payment. So we hit this endpoint, request, response. Invoices 0, and we got it. But we didn't pick it up because we had to look through invoices of 0, so...
I mean, 0 means the first, right?
Exactly. So if take res.data. So I need to say dot invoices. Okay, dot invoices dot for each. If invoice dot settled. Settled. Close that. Okay, it should work this time. It's about isolating problems because there's a lot of problems right now. I want to get down to one problem, which is the polling.
Mm-hmm.
I know the polling doesn't work. I just want to know that we can pick up these invoices. Send. Now. Oh crap, did I miss the window? Did I miss the 10-second window? What is that? 10 seconds. Yay, okay.
Nice.
We are capable of listening. Just need to listen at the right time. Okay, console log. Yeah, let's have ChatGPT help us with this polling. Can you help me poll the listen for invoices function here every 3 seconds or a minute after an invoice is created? Cool. We'll come back to that. And we'll have this minute period. And we're listening to the correct timestamp. And anything after this timestamp, we will assume is the correct invoice. But honestly, you could dig down deeper in here and like compare the invoices and keep a database, but we're not going to do that. Well, actually, I mean, our Lightning node is keeping a database of them, so it wouldn't be too hard. But something that we might do is have a timer here. That's like while we have the invoice, a timer starts counting down from a minute and shows the user before we stop listening. So that will probably be a thing to do next. So let's see what it wants me to do here. Create a polling function that calls us in for payment at a specific interval. Set up an interval calling this every 3 seconds. Start polling. Polling interval. Start polling. Okay, so this is what we need. See if this makes sense. Polling interval. Send for payment with the current Unix timestamp every 3 seconds. And after 60 seconds, we clear the interval. If that makes sense. And we clear the interval there, and then we start it right here. Right, there's no imports for that. Let's see how that works. Yep, and we see payment not settled, firing every 3 seconds. And pay now. Cool. And another thing we might do, this is kind of our settled state, so set invoice settled to true. I would set invoice to nothing, and then set memo and value to nothing. Set amount, set memo. So then the experience will be a little cleaner. 21, heyo. Cool. All right, kind of an experience that's happening here now.
That's cool. I like that the invoice goes away after it's paid. That's good.
Yeah. So, invoice settled. So something we could get into now is adding a Lightning address onto this. Do we want to try it and do that?
You got 30 minutes. That'd be pretty cool, though.
So we would need to screw it. Let's do it. Let's go for it. I have this pulled up. This is my Lightning address workshop that I did with Next.js. And yeah, there's a lot to say about Lightning address, but I have these API endpoints. Callback, lnurlp, get lnurl, lnd, lnurl. Yeah, there's a lot here.
We could do that, next one if you want. We can keep working on it.
That's true.
It's up to you. I don't think we should rush stuff like that because a lot of people want to build that sort of thing.
Yeah, good point. We'll
Uh,
save that for the next one. For now, one thing we can do is make this QR code clickable.
uh,
You can copy the invoice, and then we can make a timer. Yeah. Let's do that. So have a const copy to clipboard. Gator. Actually, yeah, that's If invoice is not an equal string, we should be able to copy it. Click, copy to clipboard. Cool, in this way, okay. And it's nice about this toast setup is we can just keep reusing these for whatever reason. And we can make this a little nicer. Cursor, pointer, so that we know we can click it, and we can also say hover, opacity, like 75. That way, when we hover it, yeah, we can see we can click on it. Okay, now the timer. So let timer equal 0. Start polling. We actually want a timer to be state. So let's make a listen timer. And set listen timer. Okay. And we want this to count up every second. So our polling interval, set interval every 3 seconds. Let's just make this every 1 second. Set. Listen timer. No. We'll set listen timer to listen timer +1 every 1 second. That's maybe a dumb way of doing this, but we're ripping it. Okay, so then we can display that right here. See how that looks. 12, memo, AO. Whoa. Oh no. We're at 1 second perpetually. Listen timer will start at 1. And then we'll display it if listen timer is greater than. We're going to say if we have an invoice, but the and not invoice settled. Do it like this. Let listen timer 0. Ah, I spelled it wrong. Damn it. Listen timer. Timer greater than 0. Yeah, why is that rendering like that? That's super weird. Let's just see what happens. I run it. Doesn't increment. Back this up. So listen timer, we starts at 0 on render, and during our polling interval, we get +1 each time. Let's just see if I put it in raw. Timer. And as I started, it's because it's not tracking a state update, I suppose. Because we're not re-rendering state. So I do need to use state. Const. Timer. Hmm. And timer ++. Listen timer, listen timer, listen timer. I'm not spelling this wrong, so I must be doing something dumb. Set listen timer to listen timer ++. +1. Oh, it likes that for some reason. Okay, let's see now. Will it increment as we're listening? It increments once.
Sorry, I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
No, this is kind of funny.
I'm glad that all of this like silly stuff happens to everyone, not just me. So I feel better.
Yeah, it does. This is where you end up spending a majority of your time, I find. The stuff that should be working but isn't for some reason.
This is where you end up rage quitting, and
Yeah, exactly. What if we say new count equals listen timer +1. Put in new count.
So what's the polling logic that you're actually going to implement at a high level?
Of course. The polling logic at a high level. I mean, essentially, I want to listen for a minute, up to a minute, for the user to pay, and let them know that. Can't unassign to undeclared variable new count.
Is the idea that the invoice will also have an expiration of about a minute?
No, but we might want to do that because there can be a lot of people's tipping pages get spammed. So you want to be careful for like how long you're giving them resources for. And usually a lot of them though, like I'm trying to think, like OpenNode, they do like an hour. And the counter starts as you're donating.
One thing you can do I had to sort of deal with this kind of idea as well. If you wanted to make a more longer lived invoice, and also like with ideas of like, hey, you want to prevent your, backend from having to allocate a bunch of resources. One way to help with that is if you want to use cookies, you can pretty much say, has this user already created an invoice? And then if they have, you pretty much can either refresh that invoice or just give them back the invoice that they've already created previously.
Mm. Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
And then you're pretty much you wouldn't have more than one invoice per cookie session. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then, oops. But then if you don't, if it's like a donate page without a login, that might be sort of weak. You know what I mean? So it's it just depends. Like with mine, there's actually like a login, so you can't just infinitely open up new tabs. You know.
Yeah.
But this idea is more just like I want to tip. I'm not logging in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, anything you do can be sort of DOSed, whether you like it or not. If someone really, really is a pissant,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I'm just like dealing with like day one programming stuff. I can't. Previous +1. Because this is, the polling runs for 60 seconds. Once we create an invoice. And this set interval runs every 1 second. I'm just trying to increment my timer. Let's see what we got here, 12. Wait, no. It'd be 0. Oh my gosh, here we go, finally. We're a genius. Okay. Now how should this look? Should probably be wrapped up in like little thing with the QR code. So let's do that. So let's make another div. This flex call, justify center. Div. PG. There we go, and we can do, no, wait, yeah, rounded. Medium, and we'll add a little bit of padding. Okay. Oh no, we kept counting. So I need to have it where after 60 seconds, clear interval. We're gonna set listen timer to 0. Set invoice, set amount, set memo. We'll clear this state as well. Okay, kind of blows things up. It looks okay. The timer seems to be working. I want to center that timer. Class name, text.
Would it make more sense to do the timer backwards? And then
It
the
would.
invoice blows up?
That absolutely would make more sense. And that would actually be easy because we can start it at 60 and every single interval -1. You're a genius, Nate. 60, 59, 58. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, that looks good now. That's good.
And we also don't need to hit our L&D endpoint literally every second.
That is probably true.
Maybe just every 2 seconds. Okay, cool. Padding 4. I'm gonna go ahead and add a default of padding 4.
Now, but the invoice itself, we could use the RPC to give the invoice a timer built into it as well, right? I don't think we've done that.
We could use the
It's an
RPC.
expiry. Yeah.
Yes, we could. Yeah, we already have the timestamps, so we could do that pretty easily.
The little white border went away, I guess, but that's okay.
Yeah, I got it. Padding 2. There we go. Yeah, so that's a good.
Is that a good stopping point? Or do you want to?
Yeah, that's about a good stopping point. Let's see how we would add an invoice with that kind of expiry. Settle date, payment creation, description hash, expiry.
Yeah. It's just seconds.
Payment request expiry time in seconds.
Yeah.
Default's 24 hours. Nice. Yeah, so that'd be an easy one to add. But okay. That is a start. I'm going to push this up to GitHub and we'll...
Yeah. Where's the repo?
It will be Voltage Tipper. We're going to make it right now. Be my 235th repo. Voltage Tipper. Public. Yeah. Push an existing repo.
So folks can just fork or pull that out or clone that and check it out.
Yeah, exactly. At least start where I'm at. Git push. Nothing push. Git add. Everything. Git commit. -m. Initial hack. Nice. All right. Well, that is a start. And from here, we have the basic functionality and the basic UI laid out. It's a pretty good place. From here, I would definitely want to simplify this code and polish it a little bit. And then we can start to get into the customization features of, for one, like having expiry on the invoices and allowing people to pay in more ways. So potentially adding on chain, lightning address, and LN URL. Those are all things that now that we have this foundation in place are pretty easy to add. So yeah, I suppose we'll get into that next time. And but yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean, what's really cool about it too is what percent of the time in the last 2 hours have we talked about voltage? Like the smallest little thing, right? So it's like,
yeah, that's kind of true.
And you go make your stuff, you know.
I should have talked about voltage more.
No. I'm saying that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Like,
no, exactly. It's like
we want you to focus on building your stuff and not have to deal with your, the node and all that.
Yeah. One thing I did learn though that I did not know. I don't know if Tidwell's still here, but the invoice macaroon, you cannot get your info with the
Yeah,
invoice macaroon. That's just crazy to me. Can you? So you can bake. Um,
and that's the default LND one, I believe. And it kind of makes sense because maybe you don't really want whoever's using that macaron to know, I don't know, whatever you think is sensitive about get info, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, that's fair.
Like what, like the total balance of the node or whatever. Like you can still decode the invoice and look up the total capacity, I guess.
Did I? Oh my gosh. I pushed
Is it gone? Do we
pushed
have to
my
do it?
tables.
Ah!
Good thing we didn't use the admin macaroon. Oh gosh, this is such a classic. Well, also good thing that I can go. How do I roll these or like regenerate them?
You can you don't hit what's underscore, what's the under copy thing? Like if you click copy, is there any other option besides copy
No.
on the right side? Like, yeah, that. Okay, no,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Filters.
we're gonna have to talk to the team here in 8 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
But
Cool.
I mean, you
If
don't
you-
have that much money on the node anyway, thankfully.
Well, yeah, and I mean, all this lets you do is read, which this is my test node, and then you can generate invoices. So feel free
So
to,
people can pay you through that info. Oh no.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. But boom. All right. Yeah, we'll have the repo and all that stuff out there. That was cool. Thanks for dropping in, Mike. I don't know if you can hear. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, yeah. I guess for anyone watching, like, give us suggestions for what you would like to see
Oh yeah.
built, have templates for. I'd be happy to do it, and we're just writing some code on a Friday. So heck yeah.
Awesome.
See you next
Later.
time.
Yo, man. Nice hanging out, dude.
See you, Mike.